Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tearing into a stack of sources focused on, well, one of life's really big puzzles, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Why we know we should do something difficult today for a better tomorrow, but, we often just go for the easy option right now.
Exactly. That immediate comfort versus long-term gain.
So we're diving deep into long-term motivation, consistency, and what seems to be this really powerful idea, thinking of your efforts as a gift to your future self.
That's right. And our mission here isn't just feel-good advice. We're looking for the specific psychological tricks and tiny actions that actually make consistency work.
Right.
We're looking at sources that use this future self idea to fight back against something psychologists call temporal discounting.
Temporal discounting.
Okay.
I think unpack that a bit.
It basically just means we naturally value a small pleasure right now much more than a huge reward way off in the future.
Oh, okay. Which is why I'll, grab the cookie instead of thinking about my health goals 6 months from now.
Precisely. Or why you put off starting that big project or learning that language. The reward feels so far away and the effort feels so now.
Yeah, and when you start something big, learning an instrument, a language, whatever progress can feel just painfully slow at first. Glacial, really.
And that's the danger zone, isn't it? That's where people often just, give up.
Okay, so how do these sources suggest we overcome that?
Well, the core insight we kept seeing is this reframing of that feeling, that frustration when things are hard.
Yeah.
It's about turning that feeling on its head. You see, today's hard work, not as a chore, but as a necessary, even a required gift you're sending forward to the person you're going to be.
A gift. I like that. So you're labeling it differently in your mind.
Exactly. It helps you get past that instinct to just focus on the now and ignore the future benefit. You're consciously valuing the future reward by calling today's effort a gift.
Okay, I think the best way to really get this is to that case study you mentioned, the one in our sources about Alex and Maria.
Yes, perfect example. And it's so relatable if you've ever tried to learn something new. So Alex is studying English every single day. He's putting in the hours.
Doing all the right things, supposedly.
Right. But he feels incredibly frustrated. He's still making mistakes, feels like he's hitting a wall, not really improving.
The classic plateau.
Exactly. And he's right at that point where he's thinking, why bother? Maybe I should just stop.
Okay, so Maria steps in. What does she do? Just tell him, keep going.
Well, yes, but how she does it is key. She doesn't just say try harder. She completely shifts his perspective, his time frame. She starts with, okay, remember, every great journey starts with small steps.
Standard advice, but okay.
But then she adds the crucial part. She basically says he has a kind of responsibility to the person he will become, to future Alex.
Ah, okay. Connecting it to that future self.
Yes, and she makes future Alex real for him, not just abstract better English. She paints a picture. Future Alex, maybe in a year, maybe two.
What does he look like?
He's confident, he can travel to new places without feeling anxious about communication. He can chat easily with people he meets.
Okay, nice.
And this is often a big motivator. He might even have a better job because his English skills opened up doors that were previously closed.
Right, so it connects the drudgery of today's grammar exercise to a really concrete, desirable future.
Exactly. It moves the why from just feeling good about studying today to securing something tangible for future Alex.
And the sources used some great metaphors for this, didn't they? To make the small steps feel more significant.
They did. Really vivid ones. Like every new word Alex learns isn't just a word, it's a tool. Like a hammer or a screwdriver that future Alex can actually use to build a better life.
A tool? Okay, I like that. Makes it feel practical.
And every sentence he practices, it's not just repetition. It's like he's building a bridge to new opportunities, new connections, that better job.
So it elevates the mundane practice into something quite profound, almost.
It really does. Maria helps him see that the hard work now, especially when he's tired or feeling like he's failing, is actually the best gift he could possibly give that future version of himself.
Okay, that clicks. It's like you're prepaying for future ease and success with today's discomfort. It sidesteps that whole I want it now problem.
Precisely. You trade a little bit of, ugh, this is hard right now for a guaranteed, wow, I'm glad I did that later.
So the main lesson from Alex and Maria is really about shifting focus from the difficulty of the step to the value of the gift you're creating.
You got it. That's the key to unlocking that sustained commitment when things get tough. Don't give up because you're building something valuable.
Okay, this is where it really blew my mind, actually.
Yeah.
Because the sources then say, hey, this future self thing, It's not just for learning languages.
Not at all. It's almost like a universal operating system for building good habits.
Right. It applies everywhere.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those other areas. How does this work for, say, just general life habits?
Well, it connects directly to that idea of compounding. Small actions, done consistently, lead to huge results over time. The sources argue we shouldn't aim for massive, heroic efforts.
Yeah.
No, aim for tiny, consistent systems. Like, think about a morning routine.
Okay. Always hearing about morning routines.
Right, but the suggestion here isn't wake up at 5 a.m. and run a marathon. It's maybe just wake up 15 minutes earlier than you do now.
15 minutes, that seems tiny. Like, what's the point?
But that's the genius of it, according to these sources. They deliberately pick actions that are almost too small to argue with.
Too small to fail, essentially.
Exactly. Waking up 15 minutes earlier, psychologically, that's easy to agree to, but do that consistently. Over time, that little bit of space means less rushing, maybe less stress. You start the day calmer, more focused.
So future you isn't thanking past you for the epic achievement, but for setting up a reliable system for a better state of mind each day.
Precisely. It's about building the habit loop without triggering that internal resistance that screams, this is too hard.
Okay, that makes sense. What about other examples? They mentioned financial health.
Yeah, another classic example, saving just $1 or $2 every day.
Again, sounds like almost nothing. Is it just symbolic?
It's partly symbolic, yes, but it's more about the habit and the identity shift. If you consistently put aside even a tiny amount, you start to see yourself as someone who saves.
Right, not just someone who spends.
And that small action, repeated daily, guarantees less financial stress and more options for your future self down the line. This is tough because money rewards are often the most delayed, the most discounted.
Yeah, it's hard to feel the benefit of saving $2 today when you want that coffee now.
Exactly. That's why the tiny daily action is crucial. It keeps the connection to that future benefit alive every single day. It's a daily recommitment to future you.
And this applies to skills too, right? Not just languages, but anything difficult.
Absolutely. Practicing coding or drawing, playing an instrument, maybe just for 15 minutes each day. Totally manageable. But you do that every day for a year. You've just banked over 90 hours of focused practice.
Wow. Okay, when you put it like that, that's significant improvement.
Massive improvement. And it's the same for health, isn't it? Drinking more water, taking the stairs, eating one more vegetable. These things don't feel like a big deal today.
No, they feel tiny, maybe inconvenient.
But your future self stronger, healthier, with more energy, they look back and appreciate those small choices made when it wasn't easy.
So the thread connecting all of this is framing those small, consistent actions as deliberate gifts, as investments in future you.
That's the core of it. Even something like reading a few pages of a book each night seems small, right?
Yeah.
But it builds knowledge, expands your thinking, fuels creativity over time. It's all these little micro gifts adding up to create that big, beautiful tomorrow the sources talk about.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And it brings us back perfectly to the practical side for learners, especially beginners. We have the why, the motivation framework. Now, what about the how? What specific techniques can beginners use today?
Right, because motivation is great, but you need action. The sources shift pretty quickly into the mechanics, especially for language learning, focusing on speaking.
Which is often the scariest part for beginners.
Totally. So the goal is to build confidence and that muscle memory for speaking without feeling overwhelmed or silly.
And a big part of that fear, I think, comes from trying to sound like a native speaker right away, trying to be too fast.
Exactly. Rushing leads to mistakes, which leads to frustration, which reinforces the fear. It's a bad cycle.
So what's the alternative they suggest?
The first really fundamental method is just simple speaking practice. This means answering questions out loud, even if you don't know the full answer, even if your pronunciation isn't perfect yet. Just try.
Okay, but here's the key part, right? Based on the sources.
Yes, the absolute key instruction here is speak slowly.
Slowly, not fast.
Deliberately, clearly, intentionally slowly. It's not about speed, it's about clarity and control.
Why is slowing down so important for a beginner?
Because it makes the physical act of producing the sounds easier. It reduces the cognitive load. You're training your mouth, your tongue, your brain to make the sounds correctly without the added pressure of speed.
So it's like practicing scales slowly on a piano before you try to play fast. You're building the foundation.
Exactly. It's a training technique. You pause, you breathe, you articulate. The sources are really clear. Prioritize clarity over speed. This actually builds confidence faster because you make fewer mistakes and feel more in control.
That's a great gift to your future, more fluent self, the ability to speak clearly because you practice slowly first.
Precisely. And the second technique they mentioned builds on this idea of careful repetition. It's called shadowing.
Shadowing. Okay, how does that work?
You listen to a short phrase or sentence from a speaker.
Like on a recording.
Yeah, exactly. You listen, then you immediately try to repeat it out loud, mimicking the pronunciation and intonation as best you can.
Okay, imitating.
Right. And here's the crucial part, again, linked to speaking slowly. The sources explicitly say if you need to pause the audio or slow it down.
So it's okay to not keep up with the native speed immediately.
It's more than okay. It's recommended for beginners. The goal isn't just to mimic quickly, it's to mimic accurately. Slowing it down allows you to actually process the sounds and train your mouth to reproduce them correctly.
It's about building the right habits from the start. Neural pathways, maybe?
That's the idea. You're training your auditory feedback loop, listening, speaking, listening to yourself, and making sure the pattern you're ingraining is the correct one. This deliberate, maybe slow repetition helps you eventually speak more clearly, naturally, and with confidence.
So the gift through shadowing isn't just vocabulary, it's the actual physical coordination for clear speech.
You've nailed it. And the promise across these methods is consistent. Practice deliberately, even for just 15 minutes. Focus on clarity, not speed initially, and the improvements will compound much faster than you'd think.
Wow, okay, that really brings everything together. We've gone from the big why of the future self to the very specific how of speaking slowly and shadowing.
Yeah, it's a powerful combination.
So, wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
the core message feels really empowering, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
changes delayed gratification from something you just endure into something active and meaningful today. Your future self, the one who's confident, skilled, maybe healthier or wealthier, they're going to look back at you now. The one who feels tired or unsure is making mistakes.
Yeah.
And they're going to send back a massive mental thank you note. Like, thank you for starting when it was hard. Thank you for not quitting.
Every small effort today, every time you choose the slightly harder path for that future benefit, it's like putting money in the bank for future you, a deposit into your own well-being.
A deposit. I like that.
Which I think leaves us with a really important question for everyone listening. If consistent, small, deliberate efforts today are the absolute best gift you can give your future self,
Yeah.
what is the single smallest, maybe even ridiculously small micro action you can commit to starting right now? Not tomorrow, today. Something that specifically focuses on clarity and consistency, maybe even slowing down rather than rushing. What's that one tiny gift your future self will thank you for initiating today?